The lit RPG scene in publishing is a wild one. I've been going down the rabbit hole the last few days, ever since I did my interview with Michael Dalton and Adam Lance from the harem lit subgenre of things to see where a lot of the men's reading is at. And this is pretty interesting. If you don't know what a lit RPG is, I'll get into this in a little bit. But there is this pipeline, this minor leagues that are getting used by publishers like Aethon Books to bring people up to the next level. And this is super fascinating. So let's get into this in just a moment. Please hit the like and subscribe button. Join us here as we talk about all things. This is the fantasy news, the real fantasy news, like I like to say. And I appreciate you guys for being here. We're all about the book industry and reading. And this is my Fandom Pulse Substack, where I talk about and write articles on these subjects quite often. I am also a fantasy author myself. This is my book, The Demon's Eye. It's basically a classic sword and sorcery. So it's about a reluctant hero who has taken a vow against violence. And he used to be a soldier for the evil empire. Now he has to kind of fight it. And there's a bigger evil that's awakening right now that he has to deal with as well. It's in the description below. Really quick read. You're going to love this. And thank you guys so much for making this a huge success. And yes, grab this today. Support our channel. It's only $4.99. And I appreciate you guys for being here. Okay, so Aethon Books is a huge lit RPG publisher. They've been going at it for a while. I know Josh Hayes decently well. I was actually on his podcast back before all this whole craze happened. Just kind of knew him a little bit, and nice guy. And he's also paired with Rhett Bruno, who's the CEO of the company, and they put out just crazy amounts of books. Now, there is a pipeline that exists here, which is pretty interesting. And I noticed that as I started to delve into this, that no media is covering lit RPGs or Aethon Books or any of these publishers, which is really, really wild given how much of a success this genre is. Now, if you don't know what a lit RPG is, it is literally a lit RPG. So this is a new one that Aethon Books just came out with called Iron Blooded. I love this cover, and I am considering picking it up because of, yes, I'm judging a book by its cover. Okay. But as you can see, it's like an isekai lit RPG, and you can see, what does that mean? Well, the isekai comes from anime, manga, and basically a character dies and gets put into a video game or something, and then they kind of are developing there. And what a lit RPG does is they actually add RPG elements to the fantasy. So these guys in here, so if you just kind of scroll through the Amazon sample, you can see there's class, soldier, rank none, level 10, strength 5, vitality 5, damage 6, endurance 4, agility 5. So what they do is they kind of give stats along the way. And in this one, it looks like the character is actually aware of his stats. I think it depends on the book, kind of how they do that there. And he wishes he's progressed further. And so he's trying to get himself to progress further within this thing. It's kind of a neat deal, and it's fleshing out RPG characters and the like, and giving RPG roles to these characters. Pretty interesting stuff right here. Now, this just came out today. And is already just killing it in military fantasy, already up in the Kindle store, pretty high. And this is something that's going really well for Aethon Books. But where did it come from? And that's pretty interesting on this level as well. And so what Aethon has been doing is they've been going through a site called Royal Road. And if you hit Royal Road real quick, it is a site that has a lot of different stuff on here. They recommend books for you, and they have whole read. Best rated, so you can go through here. There's the top rated ones. You can see, look at this one. This got 22 million views for this book on here. This one's got 13 million right here. People are reading like crazy on this website. And so what happens is a publisher like Aethon sees this and they go, oh, this has a built-in fan base already. It's going to sell. So they pick up the author, they get them going on this level, and then they add them to their list. And I'm seeing Aethon do this more and more often. So this is one of those, right here, Iron Blooded, the Reese Brooks person. I just Googled this guy real quick, and then I found out Reese Brooks Reddit, and there's a lot that goes on Reddit with this too. He was given an interview with Reese Brooks in a lit RPG community last year, talking about how he's just new to this. And so a lot of people show up, and Reese said, this was my first time posting on Royal Road. I'm fairly new to the site. It means I didn't know a lot what was going on. And then suddenly he got really big with his lit RPG system that he was doing right there, and then was talking about this on that. Now what's happened is this book, Iron Blooded, Royal Road. If you look at it, it says stubbed. which means it's kind of done at this point, and they're not. I think stubbed means they're not doing much because it's going to an actual regular book series, and so it's Please don't rate this fiction that you haven't read. Okay, well I haven't read it, and so it looks like there's no more updates going on here because he's now been picked up by Aethon Books for this. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Oh, I don't know what stubbed means then. What does stubbed means? So I'll have to. Somebody could tell me in the description below who knows about this. But it looks like there was an update 6 days ago on this level, and this story is stubbing book 1 only. Okay, to prep for KU release. Okay, so they're taking it off of book 1, and so that it can be up on Kindle Unlimited. Now, almost all of the sales of this stuff does end up on Kindle Unlimited. People rapidly read through and go through this stuff, and so all of the people on here are on Kindle Unlimited. Somebody was actually asking in a Lit RPG forum earlier if there's any on Kobo, and everybody's like, LOL, no, everybody's on Kindle Unlimited, which is interesting because, it's like, is there a market for this outside of Kindle Unlimited? Well, Dungeon Crawler Carl, of course, is a book that's in bookstores now, so that is the case there. But I've actually seen a lot of these authors post their books up to KU, and they don't even have physical versions of the books available, which is pretty wild. I actually, for my new book, The Demon's Eye, it's interesting. I've talked to a lot of these authors, and they're like, "You don't put this in Kindle Unlimited?" I'm like, "No, I want the full dollar amount for this." And they're like, "Well, you're losing out on a lot of audience." But I've actually got a readership of close to 50-50 for this book, for print editions and regular editions. So Kindle is not really where it's at so much. But with Lit RPG, they say that like their print editions, maybe they get 5% of their sales from that. It's pretty crazy. I could not even imagine that. But I guess there is a huge readership on this level. So what I found interesting is that these authors do go from Royal Road on here. And Royal Road has actually generated 43.56 million views since January 2025, according to SimilarWeb. There's a lot of readers on here, and it's something I've just discovered, so I'll be checking it out and paying attention on there. And again, I see Aethon really just pulling some of these popular RPGs from there. This one right here, obviously, is coming out today. I also saw Timothy W. Long's Reborn as a Dark Lord, the Tavern Keeper's Cozy Guide to Rejecting Evil, Befriending Orcs, and Cooking Exceptional Hot Wings. So this is obviously leaning into the silly sort of slice of life fantasy sort of stuff that you see in anime and the like, which is pretty amusing. And this is pretty fun stuff. And so this is coming out in a couple months, August 19th, and Aethon Books has picked this up from Royal Road again. So very clearly, this is exactly what they're doing. They are watching who's garnering a fan base. They're building into it. And this is, again, quite a good model for a book publisher to do. It makes a lot of sense to have this minor leagues that you don't have to develop. Like the classic way of doing so is you pick up a first-time author, after they've done a few short stories or something like that. You try to help them build their audience as a publisher, which is really difficult to do because people don't really follow publishers so much. A little bit what this community does, but most of the time people follow authors over publishers. And so it's like a catch-22 as an author. I want an audience. How do I get an audience? Versus like if you have an audience, then you definitely get an audience anyway. And so it's like a chicken and egg situation for marketing. Now, this obviously is good for readers all the way around too, because readers get to check stuff out. They get to kind of vote and say, okay, this is good fiction, this is not good fiction, and check what they want on these websites and the like without having to put any investment into things. And then if it goes further, they can support people as well. And a lot of these people run Patreons and the like as well. Which I'm seeing a big business model here. But there's big business involved. A lot of these books I'm seeing have thousands and thousands of reviews, which means thousands and thousands of people are reading them. I'm hearing like 60 to 100,000 to 200,000 for a lot of these authors, who a lot of them you don't even know who they are. It's interesting. It's like, who are these people? And outside these communities, there's really nobody who sees them as celebrities or anything like that. It's not like the traditional publishing model. So this is a fun little rabbit hole to go down. Royal Road and Aethon Books seems to be capitalizing on that very, very well. We'll be covering that here on the channel as we go forward, because this is the place where we're going to get our fantasy news and the like. Let me know if are there authors you'd like me to interview to like check out and report on, guys, because this is a spot I think that is very good and a healthy spot of the publishing industry I want to promote going forward. Leave a comment down below, hit the like and subscribe button. Love to hear from you, my friends, and please check out The Demon's Eye, my classic sword and sorcery fantasy book, in the description below, and we'll be back soon.